Hey everybody and welcome to a new video. My name is Midway and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I sure am. So today we are here with x-samkok. Again, it just came out recently, and today I bring you a list of tips that as a new player you should be trying to follow in order to maximize your progress, and most importantly to have a clear path and direction so you can aim yourself properly and not waste resources early on, so you can just get yourself as powerful as early as possible, right? So let's get into it. First of all, the most important thing is going to be to have a clear direction of what officers and what lineup you want to be building as soon as you can, right? So I already covered this in a previous video, but right here, if you are in the city tab, you're going to be able to find the guide on the bottom left, right? As you can see right here, I am clicking on the bottom left right there, and here you will see a list of all the recommended lineups in this game as a form of a bit of a progression path, right? So I early on went for the first one, which just says it's the recommended lineup early on, which is a very good baseline of what you should be trying to aim to get towards, because it's a proper build, it's a proper lineup of officers that combine very well together. But soon enough I found myself that I was able to already try to aim myself at upgrading officers, which are going to be a lot more powerful down the line, even as a late game kind of lineup of officers, right? As you can see, I went all the way down to the bottom one and I saw that I already had almost all the elite squad, and now at this point I already have all of them, right? So this is going to be a much more powerful combination of officers. So if you are able to early on see that you might be able to get some of this very easily, which somehow you do, not gonna lie, this is only like the fourth day the game is out and I'm already powerful enough to get them all. You can already see that you should be starting to try to upgrade the ones that are going to be in the main lineup, at least here on the elite squad that's recommended. You should be trying to aim to get those upgraded before anything else, right? That's not to say you should not be upgrading anything else, but if you're going to be wasting resources away, because in this game you need to be consuming other officers in order to use them as materials for upgrades, if you're going to be doing that, try to focus and upgrade especially the one officers or the one lineup that you are really seeing that's going to be very much important. So of course, if you are already progressing through the first couple lineups, you're already leveling up your officers on the recommended lineup, well, try to really focus on those that are also going to be part of other stronger lineups. So for example, here we have Sao Yun, which is also part of the first recommended lineup, right? So I was already trying to upgrade that one as much as I can, and if I can feed any resources into that one officer first, that's what I'm trying to do, because I know that after I've switched lineups and I've gotten more copies of other officers, I'm going to be able to really use that one specific officer in my future stronger lineups, right? So what I'm trying to say really, all in all, TLDR, is try to focus on upgrading the officers which are part of the end game kind of strong lineups, and not just on the early game a little bit weaker kind of officers, which are recommended and easier to get early on, but are going to be a lot less powerful down the line. Another thing that I recently just found out is that you can get a lot of very easy resources from the 7-day event that's going to be running once you first start playing this game. You're going to be jumping into a new server and these events are going to be running on, right? So usually you will just click on complete all of this stuff and it's going to be free resources. But if you go to the special discount tab, you will find that there is a lot of very powerful things here you can buy with just in-game currency. You don't need to spend any money on them, or they're going to be very cheap to get anyways, right? So you will need to be thinking about whether or not you want to be getting this stuff, right? So I'm talking about these sort of value packs. In this case, for example, this one is only giving silver, which is not that important early on because you will get a lot of, but nonetheless there is things like, for example, this one with the crafting stones, and you are going to be seeing that you're going to be able to get 800 of them for only 1,000 gold, which gold comes from all sorts of things in this game. You're going to be getting a lot of it. Usually I was just using my gold for extra pulls on the gacha so I could get more officers, but this offers a lot of very good value, right? So 800 of the crafting stones are going to be getting you very down far on the equipment upgrade system. So as you can see, I already got myself very, very strong equipment. Of course, the different pieces of equipment you're going to be getting from different sources, but the level of those pieces, as you can see, will be coming from having those what you call the crafting stones here nonetheless, right? So getting a lot of those for a very cheap price from that event is something that I would really recommend everybody doing. There's a lot of power able to be coming out of upgrading equipment, and it's pretty much just very cheap and very easy to do so. So look into that and try to get those packs if you so desire, but I would recommend you to do so. Another thing that's very important in this game is to look through the shop, right? There is going to be a ton of shops. Some of them will be pay to win shops, of course. I mean, just straight up use your real money to buy stuff from them, but a lot of them will just be shops where you can use the resources you have accumulated from different types of gameplay options and events in the form of then exchanging them for resources, officer shards, whatnot, right? So there is a lot of shops, and you should definitely be trying to find some bargains. Some of them will refresh daily, some weekly, some monthly, and they will all offer very valuable things. So for example, from this one, you just get some good deals that you can just go ahead and use for many different purposes, resources to upgrade officers, more gacha pools, whatnot. But there is going to be some that are a little bit more special. For example, the arena shop here. If you know you are going to be aiming for a certain type of officer, which I already talked about, we know that Sao Yun down here on the bottom left is an officer that I'm going to be using on a late game kind of lineup, right? So I know that I want to be aiming myself to be buying those shards for Sao Yun, right? So you can see there's a monthly limit of 5, so I can just go ahead and save up on those resources I get from the arena and get myself a free full copy of Sao Yun every month just from doing this. Same thing happens for Conquest, so that's just another form of PvP, and you will find that this kind of replicates for every single type of content, right? So there's going to be also your item shop here, where you will be having some sort of PT timer. You get these items which are called the Jades, which you will just be getting from some of your gacha pools. You can save this up and use to buy some of the most important officers. For example, Sang Liao, you can just get copies out of that one. You can also get whatever else you might want for any of the other factions, right? So save up those specific types of currencies and use them wisely in the shop to really target what you want to be getting. Another shop that's very important and very cheap and straight up just free to play is the stratagem shop. You will be able to save up a lot of these resources, what you call the I'm not sure what you actually call them, this sort of books, which you can actually then go ahead and use to buy the stratagems you don't yet own, so you can start to spread them out and put them on your different officers, right? So it's a very easy way to complete your stratagem system, to spread it out so you can have more copies of those items and just put them on the officers so they get a lot stronger. And then there will be more of these kinds of shops, which as you play the game, they will become more and more available, and eventually will be the main source of the copies of the most important officers that you want to be collecting, right? So very important not to waste any of these resources. Think carefully about what you're going to be getting down the line, what your build will be looking like once you actually assemble enough of these copies of officers, as well as those resources, so you can make wise purchases early on. And finally, one tip that I think will be very important for everybody playing, especially from day one, very early on, is going to be how to use your quick, what you call actually your quick mines, it's called, I think it is. Once I managed to pull it out, there you go, your quick mine indeed is called. So you might be very tempted once you play this game, so you will see you are throttled in the progress on the campaign by your level, right? So you might be very tempted to just go ahead and use those quick mine options as soon as you can, and you should be using them all every day, even though you might need to spend some gold on them, because leveling up in this game will open up a lot more avenues and types of gameplay, as well as just upgrade systems in the game as a whole. And of course, as you level up, of course, you will also be increasing the amount of idle rewards you get just from being able to progress in the campaign, right? So, yep, one thing you should do in order to quick mine with just get the most out of it is to just wait and reach the max level in the campaign you can at any given time before you go ahead and quick mine, right? Because whenever you level up in the campaign, you go from one stage to the next one. That's going to be upgrading the amount of items, XP, anything else, all the resources you get out of idling. That's going to be increased whenever you go to the next stage, right? So if you are able to do one more stage, which you should always be able to do anytime you you are able to do, you should just go ahead and complete it immediately. Then if you are able to do so first, you will then in turn get more resources out of the quick mining, right? So if you are just a few levels, or I don't know, a little bit of XP away of being able to level up once more and then being able to go up to one more chapter in the campaign, maybe then you should go ahead and idle for a few minutes, maybe an hour, and once you are able to do so and level up once more, do the campaign chapter, and then you can go ahead and quick mine, because then you will get more out of those quick mine attempts. Of course, you can only quick mine so many times a day, even though you might have all the money in the world, you cannot quick mine infinitely, right? So you are really throttled by this whole system, and leveling up is going to be the main factor early on from frustrations where you just are not able to do anything else in the game because, well, you are just not enough level, right? So yep, this tip should definitely be something you take into account, very important. It's going to allow you to get ahead of everybody else a lot, just simply a lot more, and early on in the game, the first few days in the server will just allow you to be a lot stronger than anybody else because of those little couple levels, and this could really make a lot of a difference. So there is a ton more tips that I could get myself into. If I was going to be explaining everything about this game, I wouldn't finish in a lot of videos. I don't know, I'm just not gonna go ahead and talk about everything. Nonetheless, hopefully these few tips were useful to you right now. I'll have more down the line, so if you're interested in this game, are going to be following it along, just go ahead and like, subscribe. And before you go, I'll have more content for you, but also I'm going to talk a little bit about Aptoide, right? So if you're going to be playing this game and also especially spending any amount of money into it, well, let me tell you about how you can just get a lot more value for your money, and we just got there a big victory. Nonetheless, yeah, basically Aptoide is just like Google Play. You download apps from Aptoide, and once you do so and you play those apps that you downloaded through Aptoide, whenever you make purchases in these games, you're going to be able to earn a cashback of however much money you spent, for maybe from 10% all the way up to extra 35% of that money, right? So let's say I was going to be buying this pack for a few cents. If I had Aptoide, this is what would happen. The AppCoins wallet would show up, and then I would be told how much of a bonus I'm going to be able to earn from this purchase, right? So since this is a very cheap package, I'm not going to be earning much. That's based off of the amount of a bonus I currently have unlocked. For example, you can increase that bonus by doing things like using my code, which is going to be down there in the description, as well as, yeah, down here in the screen, right? So you use that code where I'm going to be showing you right now, and then you just get those bonuses and use them to make the purchases for you without actually using your real money. So as you can see, it basically just means you get more value for your money whenever making these purchases, right? So as I mentioned, this all comes together with a separate app, which is the AppCoins wallet, and here you are going to be able to see how much of a bonus you currently have accumulated, which you can go ahead and use in the games. It works for XSAMKOK or any other game you might want to be playing through Aptoide. And then here you can also see your purchase history in the games. You can also see here the promo code that I talked about, which you can input by clicking their promo code and just typing it in there. That's going to be unlocking an extra 5% of a bonus from just the get-go forever, so that way you can have starting 10% bonus just flatline. Then here you can also see your progress towards unlocking even higher bonuses as you make more and more purchases. And then finally you can also see active events going on within different games within the AppCoins wallet, which will also increase that bonus that you get in those games in particular for 5 to 10% for about a day, right? So that's a limited time event. Nonetheless, all those things considered, as I mentioned, can increase that bonus you get in these games all the way up to extra 35% of your money, right? So as you can see, you can just get a lot more value for your money and be able to buy even more things in these games regardless, right? So yeah, if you enjoyed it and you want to know how to set it up, well, just go down there in the description. There's going to be a guide explaining how you can download Aptoide, how you can download XSAMKOK from Aptoide, and how to set the whole thing up in your phone, Android phone, or an Android emulator. It does not work on iPhones. I'm sorry, you can use BlueStacks instead on your PC. But yeah, if you got any questions, you can also drop them down below in the comment section. We'll go ahead and answer them to you if I can help you out. And that's pretty much all I got to say to you today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about it. I'll be doing more videos covering this game in the future. So if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. See ya.